Obama had his infamous hope and change as the wealth divide is suffocating. Did we get it? No. And so this nation was set up to receive another savior. But this time, even more fake than the prior. There was no improvement in employment, unless you are a failure in math or critical thinking. With 25 million added to the population over 8 years, to increase the employment by 11 or so million is not a gain on a real basis. Beyond the raw numbers there is a decline in various job quality aspects that are suppressed. What happened to the national debt to pump up the stock market while hurting the masses and causing a huge wealth divide? Yes, doubling of the debt from $10 trillion to $20 trillion. You ever wonder why the GDP growth, when spoken of real terms by our government, refused to properly account for deficit spending? If you had to borrow $1 to make $2, you made only $1 in real terms. We are back into massive asset bubbles in the stock market, housing, and more, and so what really got accomplished? Answer: the wealthy got cobbled from egregious policies, particularly monetary policies of the private banking cartel, Federal Reserve, which in effect appreciably widened the wealth divide, hurting most of the middle class. With middle America hurting from the 8 years under Obama, America was ready to put into power a new savior. Trump was more clear than Obama as he provided a few superficial messages to pull voters away from the career politicians. During the campaign, Trump noted how Goldman Sachs is a ruinous operation. What does he do? You guessed it, loads his administration with those from Goldman Sachs. Trump used to say the Bureau of Labor Statistics put out phony jobs reports, the way in which the surveys are conducted, the specific wording, and how it's tabulated. In addition to their seasonal adjustments, it is phony. But now, being the stock pumping propagandist, he says the jobs reports are true. He used to complain about the phony economy as the Federal Reserve unlawfully manipulated up the stock market. He now brags about the stock market being manipulated up. Where's the talk about taking down the Federal Reserve? I hear nothing on this front among the biggest problems this country has, and yet there is dead silence on it. I strongly suspect the night of the election, with stock futures down nicely more than 4% in the direction of fair value for this masked economic depression of real GDP growth deeply negative upon proper accounting for the past 20 years, that Trump made a secret call to Janet Yellen to juice the market. Either this or an agent of the Federal Reserve contacted Trump and asked if he'd play along. Being Trump values his ego more than the status of the United States, you can clearly see what had to have happened. There is no other good reason why he flip-flopped on everything related to the economy, the jobs reports, Goldman Sachs, Janet Yellen, the Federal Reserve in general, and the stock market. There is no fundamental reason why the big jump occurred, especially on top of valuations already being 3 to 4 times overpriced per historical measures for an economy in the toilet. Now we are solidly at 4 times overpriced, making, in some ways, the biggest stock market bubble yet as it relates to the actual economic situation. And so all the gripes about the Federal Reserve during the campaign got many on board to vote for the charlatan-in-chief and have been deeply disappointed. I am one such disappointed voter. Trump hated the phony economy greatly influenced by the Federal Reserve having low interest rates. Well, the duplicitous Trump has been pressuring the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates now that he is president. Can't everyone see what a fraud he is? As a person, Trump is a creep. He said some rather disgusting things and did things even more disgusting than he spoke about. His involvement with prostitutes, his walking in on beauty contestants while they were unclothed, and so much more, speaks of who he is.